This presentation is going to discuss Latino parenting and the ways that they can be influential in the lives of their children. We will also discuss the risk factors of Latino adolescents and the ways that parenting is changing over the years. Finally, we will look at how we, as child and family life educators, can help Latino families and make a difference. Familism, or familismo, is a key cultural value in Latino families. This is the value of Latino social norms, their familial and community expectations, and their belief and strong ties to family. Latino families live a collectivist lifestyle in which they put the needs of the family above the needs of oneself. This creates a unity among the family that can have very positive effects on Latino adolescents in regards to risk behaviors. When talking about cultural dynamics, I also want to discuss the value of respeto. Respeto is important within Latino cultures as this teaches obedience of children and proper demeanor. This is a value that parents instill in their children in an attempt to teach them how to behave appropriately within society. Because of the value of respect and obedience, this also teaches children to not be as competitive among their peers. They tend to compare themselves with peers less and to not strive as hard to measure up with what their peers are doing. It is important to look at familism or familismo in regards to parenting. This value of respect and family cohesiveness has shown to create a very positive home environment for children. When children have the love and care of their parents and that family unity, they are less likely to participate in substance abuse, behavior problems, and have academic difficulties. This sense of collectivism may also help maintain the educational drive of adolescents who are facing negative experiences. Parents who teach familismo may also instill a connection to culture for their children, which will allow them to be better equipped to manage negativity from others regarding discrimination. When looking at Latino families, we need to also look at the expectations that parents have for their children. In addition to familismo, parents also expect that children will be involved in family life. They expect them to participate in family activities and engage in family life. Along with this, they expect them to do housework and live that collectivist lifestyle which we talked about rather than an individualistic one. Here in the United States, a good majority of people are individualistic in how they live and put the needs of themselves over the needs of others. Within the Latino culture, it is important to remember that children are taught from a young age to put the needs of the family first. We also see that when parents encourage and have high expectations for their children in regards to schoolwork, then their children are more likely to succeed academically. We need to also take a look at the various challenges that Latino parents face when raising their children. Acculturation, economy, and discrimination are all stressors that parents face that can negatively impact the development of their child. Acculturation can be a challenge based on the fact that families may acculturate to the majority culture at differing levels. Latino children tend to acculturate faster than parents do, making expectations and aspirations vary from what their parents want. Core values change when levels of acculturation vary, as well as family languages and relationships. This can create a cultural diversity within the home. Economy is another challenge that parents face, especially in homes of immigrant Latino families. These families are more likely to have lower education, lower paying jobs, and live in lower quality neighborhoods. Struggling with economic stress can lead to parents not being around as much, children having to take on more adult responsibilities, and schools not being a high priority. The final major challenge I want to discuss today is discrimination. Discrimination towards Latino families come in all shapes and sizes. Adolescents report higher levels of discrimination, which also lead to higher levels of depression and worse school functioning. Acknowledging these challenges that Latino parents face will help better prepare the families for hardships that may await them. I just wanted to quickly add in the fact that parenting within Latino families often includes much more than just the parents. It is fairly common for Latino families to have more than their individual family within the household. This means that they may have grandparents and or aunts and uncles living in their home as well. With this being the case, it creates a close relationship with extended family that leads to discipline coming from any adult member of the family. Children are expected to maintain the values of familismo and respeto in regards to not only their parents, but their extended family and any other adult as well. Along with extended family discipline, we need to recognize that many families revolve around parent-centered form of parenting. This is when the parent strives to meet their own needs versus the needs of the child. This tends to look more like a parent who focuses on their own work and desires above the child's. We see this when children are managing bills, buying groceries, or simply behaving in a way that a parent should be. What families need to be doing is striving for a more child-centered way of parenting. They need to focus on the child and caring for the child over the needs of the family. This includes ensuring that the child gets appropriate schooling, being a positive role model, and having firm control over the child. Discussing Latino parenting, we need to also discuss Baumrine's 5 parenting styles. Authoritarian is a parent who has very low communication with children, low connection, and high control. This is a parent who demands their children to do what they say without asking any questions. Permissive indulgent is the parent that has high communication, high connection, but low control. This often looks like that best friend parent who doesn't quite hold the respect of their children as a parental figure, but also has a close relationship with them otherwise. Permissive neglectful is a parent who is low on everything. This is a parent that simply is not typically around. Authoritative is a parent that has high communication, high connection, and a moderate and flexible level of control. Authoritative parenting tends to be one of the most beneficial styles of parenting seen within the United States. In Latino families, they tend to use a traditional style of parenting. This is when a parent has high control, high communication, but low negotiation. They expect children to do what is asked, but they take the time to ensure that a child understands why and what the expectations are. This doesn't necessarily mean that the parent is going to change their thoughts. This is a fairly common style used within collectivist cultures like Latino, and part of this involves the aspect of expecting children to listen to extended family members within the home. This is a diagram of what those parenting styles look like on a day-to-day basis. This specific diagram shows how the range can include levels of responsiveness and warmth, as well as levels of control and demandingness. Here we look at examples of permissive, neglectful, authoritative, and authoritarian. As you can see, traditional is not on this chart as it is considered a combination of parenting styles. We're going to look at some data from the Pew Hispanic Center. According to Pew, 34% of children of Latino immigrant parents live in poverty. They are also much more likely to have parents with lower education, which in turn means that their jobs are less stable and lower paying. This lack of education and low paying jobs causes many families to live in lower income neighborhoods, which tend to have higher risk factors for adolescents. Parents are constantly concerned that their children will fall into violence and negative behaviors. The Hispanic Center has also been shown that Latino parents worry about children becoming teenage parents as well as getting into trouble with the law. They also struggle due to living in lower income neighborhoods with being able to provide higher quality of schooling. These are all challenges that many Latino parents face, and that as child and family life educators, we can work with parents to overcome. I'm going to change gears a little bit here and talk about potential risk factors of Latino youth. Then we'll look at how the family is changing, and we'll finish up with how we can help as a family life educator. So we need to recognize that some potential risk factors of Latino youth include anything that could lead a child's development to result in a negative manner. Here's a list of some potential risk factors for children, many of which we have already discussed. There's poverty, poor school quality, family structure, neighborhood, peer group, and divorce of parents. Again, this is a short list of all the major potential risk factors. Please note that they also often create a ripple effect where one factor may lead to another. An example of this might be that poverty may lead to a family living in a lower income neighborhood. This in turn could lead to a child attending a poorer quality in school, which can involve a child in negative peer groups. This is simply one example of how major risk factors can play upon each other in affecting the life of a child. Now that we have briefly talked about risk factors involving children, I want to take a moment to look at how parenting is changing according to the Pew Hispanic Center. This diagram shows the decline of children living in two-parent households. Now remember, divorced parents was a risk factor for adolescents, which leads us to believe that this decline is not only impacting the household, but also the future of the children. Latino parents are also struggling to provide high-quality, affordable child care programs for their children, making it difficult for them to support them in their fullest capability. We learn all of this information on how Latino parents parent their children and the risk factors associated with both parenting and simply growing up a Latino child. The real question lies in what can we do about any of this? Well, for one, we can understand and educate one another on resources within our community available to Latino families. Head Start is one program that is beneficial for Latino families as it specifically works with low-income families in providing preschool opportunities to help children be more successful in school. There's also the Weber State University Family Literacy Program. This works with the entire family in mind. This program is to help promote family interaction and parenting skills. Welcome Baby is another program within the Ogden area that works with new parents to be able to receive developmental toys for their baby so that they can properly progress. They also work with parents in helping them become more confident in their parenting skills. Finally, we have Youth Impact. Youth Impact is a center for adolescents to be able to attend after-school programs and participate in events within the community. All we need to do is make sure that these families understand and know of these various resources in order to help them the best that we can. Here is a list of different resources that I used for this presentation. And with that, this is the end of my presentation. Thank you for your time.